Beth?
Sorry for the delay. Sarah's gonna come in here in a minute with, update on the administration report. So everybody has a good copy. Expenditures.
Oh, they're in there now.
Yes.
Okay.
But I wanted to do a printed copy because we might have any issues with.
So we had old ones that were emailed.
Yes, there's a few more that were added just for invoice notification. So we'll probably take a minute to review it.
Yeah.
So waiting. Good to go?
We are good.
We got 5?
Well, we've got 4 technically, but yes.
Good. Okay, welcome everyone. Columbia Township's regular meeting. Tuesday, July 19th. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:13. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Gary.
Here.
Rhonda.
Karen Gruss filling in.
Karen Gruss is filling in. Rhonda's absence. Karen does have the right to join in with all our discussion, but voting is requires the treasurer. Trustee's here. Yay.
Hi, I'm here.
And Beverly.
Present.
And I'm Ken Speicher. I'm present. So we have one missing. Agenda, approval of agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented or with changes? Has our agenda been updated? Or do I need to go out and come back in?
Yeah, you'll need to
Go back to 97 pages.
Do we need to reload it? Yep, go back again. And I gotta remember how to get it. Right? And then reload it.
I never thought of that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I didn't do the delete thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can present it and reload it.
Just refresh it and do it. Well, they're going to.
You gotta delete the old one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I have it. So everyone's now got the complete agenda. You should have a new line item, which would be I-10, combined board, commission meeting, training, at the bottom.
No, you're talking about the video, the old one that we added at the.
You added that up above?
Yeah, it's right here, I-4.
I-4, meeting of the whole discussion. You got that on there, we're ready to go.
Ken?
Paper agenda.
John Buren from Great Bear Lake, can we be added to the agenda as, whether it be the new business or public comment area for a special assessment?
You can be added as public comment. During our public comment, you can have a discussion.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Do I have a second?
You can't see it.
Yeah, I can't see it. I'll get a paper one. Can I take this packet as well, in case that doesn't, that we have to look over your, okay.
It works now, we had to get up and walk away.
by Christie. Can I get a second to approve the agenda as presented? Any discussion on the agenda?
Can't ask for discussion until there's a second.
There might be a discussion before we can get a second.
Well, just making sure I look at it first. For a meeting of the whole discussion. That was added just before the meeting. I'll, support.
Got a motion by Christie, second by Bev. Roll call vote? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Ayes carried. At this point, we have public comment. Normally it's on agenda items, things that we have listed there, but, it's not actually limited to that if you have to make a comment at this point. Do I have any public comments? Ron?
I had asked it to put on the agenda, but it didn't make it there. I wanted to bring you up to speed on where we are with the Columbia Township lot.
I'm sorry, excuse me, but can you do it? The microphone working? Okay.
You'd like to do it right now or later or whatever?
He's gonna bring it to you.
Oh, okay. My name is Ron Krieger with Columbia Township Neighborhood Watch. I've been a member and volunteer for over 30 years. And I'm here to bring the board up to speed so that everybody knows what's going on. Many people have been asking what is Neighborhood Watch, what's going on, and so forth. But I know we have some new people here, and I can give you just a brief background on the history of our Neighborhood Watch. 20 or 30 years ago, we found the Columbia Township running rampant with crime, breaking and enterings, larcenies, robberies, and murder. Our Michigan State Police and our Van Buren County Sheriff's Department could not keep up with it, and several neighborhood groups were started in homes, and later it changed to the Columbia Township Neighborhood Watch Group. So it's roughly 30 years old. In the group, they had monthly meetings and still did until just recently, every month. Reviewed the police reports. Concerns were shared at the monthly meetings at the Township Hall and with the fellow members and also with the sheriff's personnel. Crime was so rampant that there was probably many times where the 5 or 6 break and enterings a week, something had to be done. And the Township Board actually got behind this, plus the Michigan State Police, and we rolled on as the Columbia Township Neighborhood Watch. The board actually put signs on their own cars. Things were so bad, and they all put the magnetic signs on the board. Every board member said Columbia Township Neighborhood Watch Patrol. We still have some of that today. And it grew to over 300 members, homes, and the volunteers put up the road signs and financed the road signs. And a lot of the crime and activity was solved and definitely slowed down. I'm going to skip here just to save a little bit of time. Columbia Township canvassed the area during those years and asked for a police officer. That was put on the ballot, as it is right now on August 2nd, and the police officer was hired, and that certainly has helped us. Columbia Township through the years has been proven to be a very vital part in the safety and the betterment of our townships. It made us all have a better place to live. Now, where are we today? Unfortunately, with the COVID hit, we're not having the meetings. John Heisiga, our coordinator, has passed away. and so there is at present no monthly meetings held. Our Sheriff Abbott, he has had 5 meetings on a company or a county-wide basis in Lawrence for training, and he's suggesting that we move not for meetings every month, but to utilize the internet, our emails, cell phones, and that type of thing to contact people and let them know what's happening in the area. So currently, I'm the only contact for Neighborhood Watch. I am 82 years old, and if Neighborhood Watch is to continue, we really need volunteers, somebody to step up. And I don't know if that could be someone on the board, part of the board, all the board. I'm looking at the firefighters. They're young people, and I think there are some families there that could certainly help out. So the hard work has really been done, but right now I need suggestions, and we need volunteers, and I'm in the phone book. My phone number's in the phone book. Be glad to talk with anybody, and I certainly do think that we need to keep a neighborhood watch in Columbia Township. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron. Why don't you stop in sometime and see me? We'll talk about what we could do to help with that. During our public comment thing, we like to keep it to like around 3 minutes and not spend a lot of time. Try to get directly to your point, and so that we can be out of here at a reasonable time.
I'll be pretty quick. My name is Matt Nilsson. I'm running for state rep in the 39th district. The 39th is most of Van Buren County, minus South Haven and Covert. In Buren County, it's Watervliet, Coloma, and Bainbridge Townships, and then Allegheny, Lee, Cheshire, Trowbridge, Otsego, Precinct 1. A little bit about myself. I'm a retired Special Forces Lieutenant Colonel, retired in 2013. Came back here in 2015 to live at my home where I was raised in Hartford. I worked for my friend on his farm. We grew bell peppers, kind of changed his business model, brought in a lot of technology, robotics, and optical sensors. And I'm a wrestling coach for Hartford High School. That's kind of my background past. Recently, I was knocking doors in Columbia Township, and I went up to this lady's door, and she said, "You know what? I got a problem. You fix my road, I'll get you get my vote." So it was owned by DNR. I went over to DNR and Plainwell. They actually packaged it, didn't fix it. So I went back to her and said, "Well, you get half my vote." I said, "I appreciate that." So that's kind of what I've been doing. I've got some calls in the area about some flooding. I'm trying to see what I can do to help out there as best I can. That's what Special Forces guys do. We get on the ground, we see what's going on, and we just try to help as best we can the people. So if you ever have any questions or need anything, I think the role of a state legislator is to kind of be that liaison between the state government and the municipalities and the community, and just try to get the answers and help things go better. So my name is Matt Nilsson. I'd love to have your vote on August 2nd. Thank you for your time, and I think I'm under 2 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? If you want to talk now, we'll hear what you have to say about North Lake.
Yeah, hello, John Buren, Great Bear Lake Board President. I'm here with Wendy Tweedy, Columbia Township President, from our board as well. As you know, we've met with you all last fall and indicated that we were looking to move forward with a special assessment district for water quality and weed control in the lake. We have a unique situation with 20% of our residents being in Columbia Township and the other 80% being in Bloomingdale Township. We've met with both township supervisors as in May, as a matter of fact, and then as a result of the request of Mr. Lazowski from Bloomingdale Township, we have identified an attorney to help navigate the logistics between the two townships. That attorney's name is Craig Rolfe. He has done some consulting for us as the Great Bear Lake Association Board. We're here tonight to formally provide you with the petitions that we are in force working on now. And we have an ask of the Columbia Township Board to approve the usage of Craig Rolfe as the attorney on behalf of the township to help navigate the steps of the Special Assessment District. So any fees that have been encumbered to date will be covered by the Great Bear Lake Association Board. And then, assuming you guys would approve this, which we're asking for and recommending, the go-forward expenses would be borne by the township as a prorated portion between Bloomingdale and Columbia. The purpose for having one attorney is so that we don't have two attorneys doing, the full amount of labor that might be either in conflict with each other or duplicative. So it should be a lesser cost. And those costs are borne by the Special Assessment District and the parties who are included in that. So I'm glad to answer any questions about the special assessment or any of the other details. I do have a proposed schedule, Ken. This largely, I think, aligns with what you had recommended, so I'm glad to provide these to you all. We've got a copy of the petition as well for the Columbia Township side. It's identical for Bloomingdale, but I'm glad to provide these to you guys if you'd like.
What I'd like you to do is come to the Township Hall and see me and Christie at the same time. We'll go over what you got.
Okay.
You can give us your information
Sure.
today. We'll take a look at it and then get a hold of us, and we'll make a time where we can both meet you and go over your
Okay.
project, and we'll tell you where we see it going.
Okay.
Okay? We're supportive of lake associations and weed control.
Okay. Would we be done for the evening, or should we?
If you want to hand these off to
Okay.
Cara.
Thank you very much for your time, then. We'll do that.
Then we'll, and then set up a meeting.
Okay, cool.
When's your schedule start, when you need to start having things happen? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so we had our annual meeting on July 9th, so we started the petition drive then. The expectation was that we would meet, gain the approval from your township this evening, hopefully. If we have to have a quick meeting to do that, we're glad to do that. We're meeting with the Bloomingdale Township meeting tomorrow. So we would like to, again, what that first step is confirming that Rolf will do the work. Your township, attorneys would then review that work.
Yeah, I got it. Get with us as soon as you can.
Yep.
Okay?
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else, public comment? Moving on then, consent agenda. We have, our regular board meeting of June 21st, 2022, expenditures, checks paid, invoices to be paid, and July payroll.
And I greatly apologize for getting the invoices in very, very late, so I understand if we need to take a minute to review those. I had a few things on my plate, a little bit.
Are you able to just point to the ones that are newly added, if people had a chance to look at it prior? Would that help, Peter?
Possibly, let me see.
It looks like you've got entry date.
It might
Yeah,
not be turned on.
Oh.
Turned on? Oh, it's on, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm just asking if
there
was a report earlier and some things were added, if
Yep.
maybe we just focus on what's new.
at the bottom of the first page, there's a Summit Fire Protection invoice that was just put in. Let me see.
So is this, entry date accurate, the invoice date entered by, or is that,
No,
it's not? Okay.
no. The entered by is my name, my initial and name.
Yep,
The invoice date is the invoice date.
okay, okay.
All right, so that's that one. There's nothing on page 2 that I remember. Page 3, the fire cat was placed. The township services annual dues and training renewal. That might be one to pay attention to. Summit Fire Protection, BSNA, PLM, like almost everything except for the first 2 on that page are new.
Okay.
It was the carpet cleanings for here at the fire station.
It was for here. Now, we have a stain in the office area that they've been coming back to retreat quarterly, and they're cleaning the rugs quarterly so that we can, maintain them and keep them. So then on page 4, Zantello, Bestway, USPS. I don't think that Summit one is new. It might be. Foster, Van Buren County Clerk, Primar, Bestway, Frontier, Deputy. So pretty much most of that page is new. And then all of the last page is new.
Google account, Christie, is that a year?
Oh,
Is that
sorry, all of the
yearly fee?
page 5. That's a new monthly for the email.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it went up quite a bit. Their services went up from $12 to $18, I think, per
That's
person.
crazy.
Yep. And that's how we keep all of our stuff vaulted in this year though, so. Page 6 is new. No, yes, that one's new, sorry. And then there's the summaries. Those are the summaries at the end.
Is this the MTA?
Yes,
that we
that's
just
the
approved?
MTA training, yeah.
And so this report, everything on it is unpaid, correct?
Correct.
This is all an open,
Yes.
okay.
The invoice one has approvals to pay, and then the one that you guys received, via email earlier this week, of the checks are ones that have already been paid. I have not paid anything since then.
Some of these were already on the list that you
Yes.
sent me, so it's just,
I know,
that's fine, that's fine. This has to be, sorted a little bit differently, that's all.
yep, I apologize. I really was trying to not do that.
Well, if you don't have them, you can't post them.
Yes, that is true. It depends on the time of the year. That's asking how often, the cemeteries are mowed, and they're mowed based upon a height of the grass. So if it rains, if the grass needs to be mowed. So we're gonna see higher amounts during,
Oh, this was during
June
June,
and
yeah.
probably September are probably gonna be our biggest months, I would guess. So,
So are you looking at that first item? Is that,
yeah,
Well, in the springtime is when you're gonna have the grass growing faster, so you're gonna have to mow more time.
Sure.
yeah.
And now in August, probably a little less.
Ken, in your supervisor's report, did you say something about mowing cemetery?
Yeah, in your report, you mentioned that you
Oh,
were gonna mow, but your tractor broke.
I mowed the cemetery back here,
he
the
means
brush
the
shop.
back, the brush
All the trees.
area.
So not the cemetery
Knocked all the trees
itself.
down.
Correct.
Brush hogging.
Future cemetery on the west side of
West
the
side.
township.
Mhm.
They only mow like a third of the cemetery there. The rest of it grows up with high grass, and I mow that twice a year.
And Michael would be willing to, so if Ken's not ever able to, then Michael can, but that wouldn't be, that's separate from the normal mowing cycle.
I plan on not mowing that just for that, but I also plan on taking the trees out on the Cal Haven Trail that is falling down. They're laying up in trees, gonna fall on somebody.
You and I issue a permit for that?
Already got it.
You, need a motion for the consent agenda?
I thought I'd let everyone keep talking to
Oh,
them.
okay, I thought.
Everyone ask their questions?
All you need to do is move the mics closer to your face. That's all you need to do.
Like this?
You need, yeah, move the mics closer to you. Can't hear you talking, Jeffrey, just mumble it. Again.
Just because somebody forgot their hearing aid.
Good point though, Lee. On the recording, sometimes people don't, their voice doesn't come up, so it's useless to record if you can't hear people, so I agree.
Are you ready? Can I get a motion to, approve the consent agenda as presented or with items to be removed for further discussion?
So,
I'll support.
Well, since this is money, we need to have a roll call vote. Jerry?
yes,
Ken, yes. Rhonda, absent. Christie?
Yes.
Bev?
Yes.
Information reports. We have a number of people here that have turned in a report. Would you like to add anything to your report or point out something that you have written down that we need to know? County Commissioner?
So about to make Beverly happy, or at least try. I don't know if that's possible. On next Tuesday, we will be having our regular meeting, and we're going to be looking at the broadband study that is finished and is ready for us to take a look at. And hopefully they went down Beverly's road. You know, we'll check and make sure. But I'm sure they did. They're supposed to go down every road. So that's kind of, I'm sure we'll have a packed house for that. So it's at 1 o'clock on the 26th. We've received 10 applicants for a new county administrator. We're planning on interviewing 4 of those folks in the very near future. The fair's this week, so get out there if you can. Museum update. The structural engineers got done with their work, and if you drive by there, there's a roof up there now. Well, it's only temporary, even though it's wood, because this is going to take into next late spring or early summer before it's finished because of the damage. So for it to survive the winter, they couldn't tarp it. They had to put a wood roof up there, even though it's temporary. So a lot of work there to be done. And last off, Christy, could you stand up, please?
Sure.
What's their shirt say? Don't forget to vote. That's all. Thank you.
I do have your vote.
Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Kurt, I had just a quick question. I noticed there's going to be some fog sealing done on some of the roads. Is that black topping that goes on after the?
Yeah. Yep. Actually,
has some of that been done? Because I
well, they're gonna in some spots. If you know, I'm not the road commission guy, but I think from listening to some of the stuff they're doing, in some places they're going to do it twice. They claim that might be better off for the road. But do you have a particular one in mind that they?
No. I just thought maybe you had some insight on it. I know you're not the road commission fellow, but I know it looks like there's a different grade of gravel or stone being put on some of the roads.
I'm sure that's true. They're trying different things in different places to get it to last longer. So I think you'll go over one road and you'll look, well, how come this one's different than the one 2 miles away? That's probably why.
Sure.
So
okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
Anything on the Connexus contract?
That will be discussed next Tuesday also. So I'm all for that. Well, it's not the Connexus contract at this point. It's working with Market Van Buren, which is part of Connexus, because we actually canceled the Connexus contract because that was John Fall, our former administrator, was working for Connexus with Palisades, and he resigned from doing that. So we thought we were paying him way too much money, so we canceled the contract. And even though some of those funds were going to Market Van Buren, we're still going to give Market Van Buren from my standpoint anyhow, going to see if we can get it approved to give them like $12,500 for the remainder of the year for salaries, and then they're going to be talking about a new contract with Market Van Buren. So it's a great thing we got going there. So I like that. So anything else? Oh, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Fun job.
Anyone else that has provided a report, like to talk about their report? Okay, we're going to move on to unfinished business.
Okay, well, I didn't provide a report, but I wanted to just say that I was at training, and then due to elections, I have very few days during the summer that I can take vacation. So I was on vacation last week. So that is why things were a little bit behind today, and I apologize for that. But we have been very busy, even though it doesn't seem like I've been around a lot the last couple of weeks. So at the training, I took multiple classes on elections, cemeteries, general clerking information. It was a very good It was a very good seminar. And during that time, I also dealt with some things here at the township. So we have a lot of things going on in cemeteries. I'm going to do an update on that later on in the agenda. But we're moving along and there's a lot going on. So elections, I just want to say there's a lot happening with that. If you want to cast your absentee ballot, please do so early. If you are coming in, great. This is going to be a normal election with the precinct being right here. We will have an absentee counting board. Hopefully that will be at the church where we've had it approved in the past, still waiting on that to be confirmed. That is August 2nd. It is a state primary. There are millages and other petitions on the ballot. There will be a front and back. Don't forget to flip it over. And just remember that our election inspectors work hard to get their certificate, and they work hard for our citizens all day long. And I just want to encourage everyone to give them a pat on the back and just not give them a hard time. They're just following the law that our legislatures have created for us. And I am super excited to start moving forward into this election cycle. I'll say that's good for now. I'm not going to do anything wrong.
Good for now?
Yeah.
So we can move forward now?
Yes.
Unfinished business. Cemetery ordinance. This is the second read. No formal action is required this month. Is there any comments that you might have on it that we can share to Christie on?
I don't know if anybody else did any feedback, but I did, as she asked for comments for that, and so I gave a few comments that I thought would be helpful, and by golly, they're all in there.
Yes.
The only one that I still, and I'm sure you're still working on it, would be the contents area, because that way you have the rules, the regulations, the sales, and you have it itemized, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so people don't have to just go through the whole thing. But I'm sure you're still working on that, so.
Yes.
That's,
and I did want to say that I would greatly appreciate Gary's feedback. I would love for the rest of the board to provide any additional feedback, and Gary, that would be you included, because I highlighted everything that's changed. So after attending a cemetery training with Cindy Dodge of MTA, she was actually at the Clerk's conference, I added quite a few things to the ordinance based upon her suggestions. And my goal is anything that we can get changed between now and a week from now, great, and then I'm sending it to Cindy. Cindy's going to review it. After Cindy reviews it and I lock everything down, I'll put the table of contents in, send it to the attorney for final approval, and then I'll bring it to the board meeting next month.
So the yellow is what you've added, the highlighted area?
Changed or added.
The only other thing I would encourage any of the board members that if you, because I've taken a couple of the webinars on from MTA on the cemeteries and ordinances and things, they're very helpful. So if you can get it done, they're typically an hour, hour and a half, well worth the time spent online, and they're free.
I've read actually the cemetery manual that Christie gave me, the little manual. It's a lovely nighttime reading. But I was amazed at the stuff in there that,
Christie, I just want to mention, we're looking at something next week where we're probably going to abolish the cremation permit. So if that's part of what you got going on, where they have to give you a permit to repair whatever, I don't know how you do it, I just want to tell you. Right now it's like $10, and basically to do it and collect it, and costs more than $10, so we're just gonna abolish it, and that's what the plan is now, so if that happens next Tuesday, which I'm pretty sure it will.
So that is on your agenda next Tuesday?
Yeah.
I was already thinking I might have to go to your meeting. I really might have to go now, and so I can encourage that.
Christie, from, Cindy Dodge, I know she's got a lot of expertise in this. Is she willing to review this as part of MTA?
Yes.
Or is there a separate fee? Really? That's for being a member?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Wow,
That's a good value.
that'll help pay for our membership right there.
Okay, we finished? We're gonna walk right into H2, cemeteries update and discussion regarding cemeteries committee.
Okay, so I had hoped I was gonna have time to do my normal cemetery report, which I did not have time to do, but there are lots of things going on still with cemeteries. With the election happening, data entry into the software system has slowed down a little bit between tax collection and the election because staff is overstretched. So any volunteers that want to come in and help with data entry on our cemetery system would be much appreciated. We've had some downed trees that our sexton has taken care of. We are working on a bid to send out for removal of some trees in Breezeville. That is just the first of many projects that we will have to work on with that. There are multiple maintenance issues. As we talked about before, there's surveying and scanning issues, and I mean, the list just goes on and on. So I would love to create a cemeteries committee. I know there are a couple of people on the board that are interested, and I am perfectly happy with scheduling those as public meetings so that anyone that wants to participate can. I would love to have the sexton obviously be a part of that committee, a couple of our citizens. I'd like to reach out to some of our local veterans organizations to see, they have a couple people that are really knowledgeable about cemeteries, and get them involved. So if you have ideas on that, I would really love to hear what you guys think.
Well, I think we should.
Should we advertise for committees again? At one time, we advertised to see if we could get people to volunteer their time to help us on different committees like recreation. We have a roads committee that seems to be working well. We meet when we need to meet.
I wonder if we shouldn't somehow put that in a cycle so that we are not advertising all of them. Maybe it's overwhelming when people say, well, I don't know which one I want. Maybe if we advertise one at a time over a period, of time, that would help. I don't know.
Maybe if you put the purpose and the amount of time that you estimate they would,
I know we have it on the website where we got the section in there, but that doesn't seem to be drawing anything.
Yeah.
But I think maybe if we...
And I thought we had volunteers for data entry.
I've had one person that agreed to volunteers come in a little bit. So, a lot of times what happens when you have volunteers is a lot of people will speak up and say they're going to do things, and then sometimes, life happens and they forget. So I just keep reminding, we need volunteers.
And after the election, things should be back to normal also.
And tax
Free
season,
of time for losing care of.
Well, do you want to ask for some seed money for advertising and a reminder to have it as a trial basis for 3 weeks to see if it does anything?
I'm okay with that. That'd be like
what would the cost be per ad?
Probably about at $40-some, so probably $150 to do it for 3 weeks.
Does anyone want to make a motion to advertise for committee members for the cemetery for 3 weeks at $150, not to exceed?
So moved.
Gary moved. Do I have a second?
I'll support.
Roll call vote. Gary?
Yes.
Rhonda's absent. Ken, yes. Christie?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on cemetery update discussion?
Just don't forget in the ad to mention Columbia Township residents. Although, I don't know, at this point, take who you could get, right?
You could write it.
Yeah,
Sounds like Bev should write that one.
I'll do that. That's perfect.
And we'll move on to H3, cameras to support illegal dumping enforcement. We, have somebody that is a frequent flyer down 48th and a half Street with a red truck and full of junk, and he's throwing it on the side of the road in the stream and on somebody's property. And we've been thinking about ways of finding out who it is. And, we talked about a camera trail. There are some issues with that, with, being able to use it to, actually convict somebody, but maybe it'll give us ability to talk to somebody about what they're doing. We talked about just getting a regular one that doesn't have Wi-Fi or send a text message or all that good stuff. And that's like a cheaper brand, that'd be under $80. Or we could get one that would actually send our sheriff a email with a picture and let him know what's going on immediately right at that time when it's happening. Then that's $139.99 on Amazon, so say $150. It's up to the board if they want to purchase one of those as a trial, whether it be a less than the $80 or one for $150 that's got all the Wi-Fi stuff, which would also include a prescription with a phone company to be able to take pictures and send to the phone, and just see if it works out on the areas that we have dumping. Another area we have dumping is where, on 18th Street, we have the bridge that went out. They dump tires there frequently, and we're picking up tires all the time down there.
And if we could rotate around the community, because we get mattresses on occasion on our road and things like that. And it's a traveled road.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something to think about. If someone wants to make that motion, we can do a trial thing with it. If we don't think it's gonna be beneficial, I just got the data here to talk about. So any discussion?
My only comment is that there's a monthly fee of less than $10, even if it's $10, to have this Wi-Fi connection or this access. Is there a contract involved with that? Is it by the month? I mean, can you cancel it?
It's by the month. Verizon has it. I got it on my deer camera out in the woods, and, basically I get a report of deers and stuff that my house was out back.
The reception could be iffy though.
I've never had a problem with Verizon. You have to have a good phone. If we don't have a phone that doesn't pick up a good signal.
Wait, so it has to be connected to a phone?
Well,
It's got its own SIM card.
it's got its own SIM card.
Okay. Out here, on at least these couple of spots that they're talking about, it'll pick up just fine.
But I guess I'm thinking if we want a camera, we probably want to be able to use it other areas of the township. And then I kind of like to hear from Justin on this. Like, so if the email to the sheriff right away, that doesn't matter because who's checking the email?
Well, if you go to more than one person, you can
but
have
maybe
all
that helps.
Well, it would go to his phone,
Mm-hmm.
but if he's not working, that's the thing.
Yeah, and we could have it go to more. We could have it go to Ken and Justin, and
The other thing
whatever.
is there a pattern at the same area for this dumping?
there is on 48 and a half.
Now, if there's a pattern to it, then we can just have Justin go down there and watch.
I know that most of the dumping over there is happening after dark. I don't know that there are specific days.
It's when he gets a load of tires, I think. Because most of it's tires and drywall stuff.
I would say there's construction material too,
Yeah.
so.
But,
What is our phone plan for the town? Verizon. So we have Verizon. It would be Verizon Wi-Fi. So why do we have we've got to pay for the hotspot connection or
No, you
what?
pay for the additional line, and there should not be a contract because we would be bringing the device. So it would be month to month.
cancel it anytime.
Yep. So we could do it for 1 month and see if it does us any good.
And then put it by the dump
And then the other thing
to
is,
see people that are dumping outside of the dump. And
this one that does the Wi-Fi or the cellular connection, if we decide to disconnect it from cellular, it still has a storage component, correct?
Yeah.
So we could try it on the cellular for a month and then still use it afterwards if that's
not helpful.
Well, I can tell you, if you put up a trail camera, because they flash, I mean, they're,
Right.
you better put up two, unless you have it high enough, because people steal the camera.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Well,
in mine,
we were
I'd
thinking
love to
about
have
putting it up
several.
on somebody's property that you keep an eye on it.
Yeah, but I also think
In other
we
words,
should
in
have more
someone's
than one.
yard, that, you get the picture down the road.
And then.
You might run into some legal problems if you have it on private property rather than a right-of-way. I don't know.
I think he means with permission. Yeah, with permission.
Well, we get
definitely.
permission.
Yeah, we have
We'll get
permission.
We know he's coming in from the Allegan direction, and he heads back to the Allegan
Yeah.
direction. So you'd see the truck coming in full, you'd see it going back empty.
So.
Then all we gotta do is, really, all we gotta do is tell him, stop it. I mean, that would deter him because we know that he's doing it.
Are we thinking that this camera could actually pick up a license plate, or at least a better description of?
We got good quality,
Yeah,
zoom
and
in.
I'm totally in support of getting more than one. I think we should have them across.
Well, I would like to
No,
try
I
one.
don't.
I would get a dummy one, get an old one, put a dummy one up where it's a little visible, and then ours in a better spot. Try that.
But that one won't flash.
If this was actually considered, I'd start with one. You can always
Yeah.
add more.
Well,
Yes.
Justin, what's your input?
I'd have to check to see if it's legal to put a camera on the roadway, which I know cities do that all the time, but they notify you. There's not knowingly being recorded or photographed, I don't know if that's necessarily legal.
Be no difference
I was
than
wondering about that
a
too.
security camera in a store.
But there's generally signs up on the store, when we put cameras on the exteriors of all the schools in Salt Lake School District,
Yeah,
I had to go to all the parking lots and put up signs that said you were being recorded.
right.
And how do they get away with the AI tickets, the license plate readers tickets in Chicago?
They pass on.
They pass laws.
Different states,
Oh.
different states have different.
I think we may
It's
have to
coming,
have an
guys,
ordinance.
look out.
It's already here.
Creepy stuff. Get a letter in the mail telling you that you've got this ticket. It's like,
Put a sign below the camera, surveillance and operation.
Well, I think that's a good idea, putting a sign up there.
Carry like a business card.
yeah, because they'll ignore it. They'll ignore it.
Or they'll quit, they'll just move, they'll go somewhere else.
Let's put it on sign up. I'm all over the place.
Yeah, there might not be a law on how big the sign has to be.
We need to do some more research on this?
I think we
I
need
know.
to talk about this a little bit more. I think we ought to postpone this and.
Well, this was no action, it's just
Yeah, right,
discussion.
okay,
So,
all right.
we talked about this stuff, we'll talk about this some more, maybe. We might just die. Move on to H4, rental of, hall items, sheriff's tables with a security deposit, items to consider, the charge per day and items like that.
So is this talking about these tables and chairs that we
Correct.
have here? How many people have asked to rent them?
We probably get, I don't know, half a dozen calls in the spring and half a dozen calls around the holidays. That's probably about average. And it's happened every year since I've been here, even during COVID.
And are they residents?
Well, I support that we only rent to residents and
I
that
agree
on
with
our
that.
policy that we say they cannot leave the township borders because they are township property. So if we were to do that, that's what I would say that we need to do. But yes, those people that are calling to ask are residents or business owners within the township.
And I wouldn't rent for more than a day and a half or 2 days max.
Most
at a
of them
time.
are gonna do a day. So.
What is the reason for the rental?
A lot of them are for graduation parties. MBG asked us for some conference they were having, because they thought it would be more convenient to get them from here than to go get to Kalamazoo or wherever to get them. Trying to think, weddings, outdoor weddings.
They don't have tables at MBG market?
They do, but they didn't have enough for the event that they were doing.
Yeah, the closest rental was Popeye, I think, Benton Harbor.
Yeah.
Is it partly because we don't have a rental place around?
Well,
Is
I
that-
think that's a lot of it, and I think one of the things we should be doing is advertising a little bit more that we have space here to rent, at a reasonable fee, that would include everything. So, I mean, I think that's the first thing that we should tell people, but there are times, like, if they're doing a graduation party, that it'd be preferable to them to have it at their home.
A baby shower would be good here.
We've had some baby
Yeah.
showers here,
Well, how many people are supportive of, renting out the tables and chairs? Maybe we ought to ask that. Bev, you
Neutral.
okay?
I'm neutral on it.
Chrissy's okay, I'm okay, you okay? What do you think about it?
Well, I don't have a real problem with it, other than they were doing that at our church as well. And we finally said, if you're a member, you can.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they were coming back broken, dented,
Yeah.
I mean, ruined.
Well, and that's part of why I was questioning, having a higher security deposit on them but a lower rental. So, we can make a decision on that. I will say that one of the things that came up multiple times at my last conference, was that taxpayer money has very specific reasons that it is supposed to be spent. And the thing, and that doesn't mean that we can't spend it on other things. It just means that initially the statute said, these are what we really want you to spend your taxpayer money on. And the big push within the municipalities around the state is to become creative with ways to generate funds for the things that are not statutory spending. So to me, if we can get a little creative with things like maybe earning a little bit of money on rental, then that's helping us supply another service to our community and supporting itself, or giving us a little extra money to put into the park. Something like that.
When I look at these small dollar amounts here,
Mm-hmm.
$3 per table and 75 cents per chair, I'm also thinking about the check-in, check-out process, and we're actually gonna be paying labor for somebody to make sure
Right.
that they're here at the right time for pickup, make sure they're clean, and, you know, so it's almost like, are we sure this wouldn't actually cost money?
So for starters, that money, those prices were put on there to give us a starting point, okay? So I am definitely not set on those amounts. The recommendation that I was provided to bring to the board, for us to start discussing was 50% of the average that I could find online. So that is a 50% rental rate from the average I could find online. So we could
So
certainly
they
increase
charge
it.
about $6
Yeah,
a table. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
That's for commercial rental places, you
Yes.
said? Yeah, I was gonna say, we should check with them and see what they're.
I know they charge a couple
Double
bucks
what
a
you see
chair.
there.
I'll tell you
That's about
that
what it
for
is.
sure.
Yep, double what you see there, and
Yeah,
that's what I could find.
So
But
what do
because
you,
it
what do
is
you
our
need, what do you
resident-
need to go forward with this? You need to write an ordinance, or you need to write a,
Well, I don't wanna put effort into creating
Well,
contracts and stuff if the board doesn't
I
support
think
it.
we have interest up here to want
Okay.
to support
So-
doing this to the residents. We just wanna make sure that we get confiscated for any damage, and that we have the
I
ability to check them in, check them out, and how all that's gonna happen.
I would say there are a couple things that we need. One is, we need probably a motion to develop a contract and ask the attorney to review it, and or ask the attorney to draft it.
Well, I
Or-
think before we go there, I think the board ought to have a chance to look at what the draft of what we're gonna be proposing, and kinda set the wages into it at that, and try to get something to almost a final product before we have the attorney take the
And I would
first
put a
shot.
liability clause in there.
Well, yeah.
in this contract.
And maybe a minimum, because that kind of addresses the labor part
Oh,
of it.
yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, but I can't draft it without knowing what everybody wants. So minimum rental.
I support the township resident only and keeping them in the township. Not renting them to take them to Kalamazoo to use.
Are you gonna have a, differential for weekends or holidays or, during the week?
Well, I certainly think if they can't pick them up and drop them off during the week, that there should be some sort of differential, because that means somebody has to come in.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe charge for an hour of what Rich would get paid or something like that.
And does someone else want to look into charges per chair, per table?
Do you want me to make a couple calls?
Sure.
We used to have a rental procedure.
You used to give them away free.
Tables and chairs.
I used to I borrowed before from here 20-something years ago.
Yeah, we had a small fee for that.
I didn't get charged anything. I just borrowed.
It was
or maybe
minimal.
I don't remember because it was so small.
I remember having something back in the day.
Okay.
Might be able to find that, but
I don't think it has to be too complicated.
it's probably outdated.
A good security deposit to encourage people to bring them back.
Okay, anything else?
Once you get that as a starter, then we'll do like a first read with it where we can actually add more comments, then we can take it to the legal.
Require a copy of their driver's license, I think would be a good idea.
And like you said at the beginning, encourage them to just have their event here in the first place.
Yeah. And we can actually put that on the form, you know, right at the top. Remember that we have a hall that's available for rent for such and such. Okay. Anything else?
I think keeping it simple is good.
Okay, if you guys think of anything, send me an email and I'll incorporate it.
You might wanna get if you can get something sent to all of us before the meeting, or even before you finalize it, just to look at, ask us to look at it.
You look like you're about ready to say something. No?
I'm just gonna check with MTA, see if maybe they have a document.
Yeah, it's the first thing I do, so.
There's gotta be somebody out there that does it.
I always do,
And there's other rental places that have their forms that you have to sign, so.
I always check with MTA and then I do a Google search and see what forms I can find that apply. So.
Well, we don't wanna give it away, I mean, we don't want it to cost us money, we wanna give them a deal too.
Yeah, yep. Okay.
Okay, we're done with H4. We're gonna move to H5, the transfer station. We have, been talking about non-residential usage and other issues that we have with, staffing, the hours, advertising, communication. And, Chrissy, I think you got this one?
Do I?
Yeah, I think you do. Let me start off. We know that we have people coming into our transfer station that are not residents of our township to dump. And we should be able to, if they're there with all that garbage on their truck, have some sort of fee schedule set up where they can go ahead and dump there, but at a higher rate than what our residents pay, because our residents are paying for that.
Yeah.
What I don't wanna see is that they come to ours and then they leave because we won't accept them, and then all their garbage is alongside the road.
Well, I think, I mean, we had talked about this, about triple the amount. I think that's what you'd find. They turn around and leave, and you'd find it on the road someplace. We already have a fee schedule for our residents, and I think non-resident people, if they wanna come in, they take the initiative to load up their stuff and bring it in. I think twice our fee schedule for non-residents.
Let's define non-resident. I'm talking non-resident, meaning that they don't own property in Columbia Township.
Correct.
Yep.
Or they don't live in
So
Columbia
sell
Township.
sell the tickets for twice the amount.
The what?
Sell the tickets for twice the amount. So they can
Oh,
still
oh,
come and
yeah,
get punches.
Sure, you could do that. You could do
Within
that.
reason, but don't get in a situation like we did where the guy brought in 200 tires.
Oh, no,
That
they're
had
still
to have been a
limited.
business or
No,
something.
They're
they'd
still
have-
limited, those are limited.
No, yeah, they are limited now, but anyway, you could sell the tickets, or if they don't have a ticket, there's a schedule on the bottom of the transfer station note that says one bag's $1.50 or a tire is this, charge them double. Charge them double. Have a residence and a non-resident, and just have the prices on there.
That sounds good. The only thing I'm thinking of is, and I could be going overboard here, do we get in a situation where if surrounding townships don't have a transfer station to where we're gonna be overloaded and then we can't handle our
Okay.
own transfer station? Because we're not keeping up that great with it as it
So
is.
that's the question I have. I know Bloomingdale has one. What other townships around us do not have one?
When I researched this before, I went to 4 of our different townships, and they all have them.
Okay.
Geneva doesn't, because they partner with South Haven.
Okay. What about Arlington?
Arlington has one.
They do.
No, maybe not. Maybe they partner with Bangor.
Okay, so,
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure about Arlington. But I know Bloomingdale has one, Gobles has one, Pine
Grove?
I'm gonna try and look
Pine
it
Grove.
up.
Okay.
Uh,
So my question is, I think we get most of the residents are actually coming from Arlington. That's my guess.
Yeah, they're closest.
Bangor and Arlington.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So I like the idea of the double price, but could we also reach out to Arlington and Bangor and ask them if they would be interested in some sort of a partnership so that we can get some more funding from them and they could pay the same rate? Just throwing that out there.
That's a possibility.
But if you're worried about checking ID now, if you bring in another township,
That's the only.
It's
How are
the
you gonna-
capacity I'm concerned about, us being able to handle it.
Well, the other issue with capacity is that we have a lot of complaints about only being open once a week. So, and the last bill, I don't know if you guys, I just added it, so I don't know if you paid close attention, but yeah,
Something on
that
there.
was the biggest bill we've had in a long time. Now granted, we had the 2 free weekends, but it was $5,000. So,
what was that best?
For
Well,
one
that's
month.
because they had to come and empty the compactor off schedule. So there was an extra fee. But anyway,
but that's not the only reason why. That's the first time I've ever seen the bill wrap around to the back side because there were so many times it was
Yeah,
empty.
that is huge. So, it's because we had the free dump day, all these people, they came out and we're glad.
Yeah.
Better there than on the road. However, if we open up to non-residents, it's gonna be like the same thing, and I'm afraid we're not gonna be able to handle the expansion without expanding, and do we have the money to
you
expand
won't, yeah,
the
you won't be
transfer
able to handle
station right now? And because I feel like we're barely meeting the needs in this area.
And I,
In the area of the transfer
Trowbridge
station, I don't
Township
mean,
is open twice a week, different hours. But they have recycling.
so,
which would help.
and I am actually fully in support of us trying to negotiate a contract for trash service pickup throughout the township and then having a recycling center. But
There's
that's
a
a whole
problem
other
with
story.
that.
That would be
Now-
a big
There's-
undertaking,
Yep.
but that would be great.
I think
Yeah.
that's an ideal long-term solution, if
Yep.
we could.
Best Way and Republic
Manage
are the
that.
2
Best way.
providers. Best Way will not go down some of the fire lanes.
That's
But there
okay,
might
though.
be a solution to that.
Yes,
though.
there are solutions for that. And that could be, that the township acquires a small little parcel at the end of the fire lane and they put a dumpster there. I don't know, but there are solutions and
We're
I
doing that on
think,
Hill Drive right now.
yeah, I think we need to investigate those.
If you do that throughout the township, you won't have to worry about non-residents coming in. They'll just drive and dump in the dumpster.
They
Well,
have
they're
a lock
locked.
on it, and the key
Uh-huh.
goes to each resident that is
Yep.
paying to the dumpster.
Yep.
Okay.
So Hill Drive is, actually got everyone on Hill Drive, it's a key, and there's one person off Utica Drive that's using it.
And a dumpster as where there's residences, it's a little different than people that go outside the transfer station on that dark road there and just dump things out there because no one's there to see them.
Oh, the key definitely works. We had to do that at a church. Come in the parking lot.
Yeah, we had
dump their
people
stuff in.
dumping.
Yeah. So I think short term, I am certainly in support of the double price. But I really think that we need to try to make some movement. We know from survey results that our citizens put in the top 3 of the things that they want for our community is a recycling center. And I think we have 2 options there. We can move towards contract trash service and potentially even recycling incorporated in that, or contract trash service and then use the transfer station for recycling, or we have recycling bins here. They do have those little cube ones.
Or investigate even the curbside recycling.
The curbside, yes, this is a service.
Because then more
Township-wide.
people will recycle.
Yeah. So, I really think we need to think about it.
Yeah, the only, it's not a problem, but it would be an issue to have somebody at a recycling station to make sure that it's done properly. Because
So-
according to our attendant now, years ago it was tried. And for some reason, the provider for the service said, it's contaminated, we
You
can't
had
take it.
sort then.
Oh, so it's not that bad now. I know it isn't, because I see communities all over the place that have those little cubes, and they have, 3, 4 cubes, and nobody's there attending it at all. So it must be working for them somehow.
I drive my recycling to South Haven every
Mhm.
week, and I don't have to sort it, because they have I take it to my son's home, to the curbside there.
Yeah, the curbside is nice. They give you a little bin and you
And
fill
I had
it.
the same thing in Kalamazoo. So I'm not too familiar with an off-site station, if you would have to sort it or not, because now you don't have to sort it.
Well,
But that could be different, so I guess that's the
let's,
picture we need to look into.
let's start talking about what we need to gather information-wise to move forward with the transfer station. It looks like we ought to set up a fee thing. We're gonna have to change our fee schedule if we're gonna have the 9 residents. So we ought to add something to our fee schedule
Should we
for
try it
for
on
next week.
a trial basis?
Next month,
Ken, could we just try it on a trial basis and see how
We
it
still
works
have
out?
to change our fee schedule if we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
start
actually
something.
have to bring the fee schedule anyway, because, with the new cemetery ordinance will require some adjustments to the fee schedule, so we'll bring that next month.
Yes, let's get the fee schedule, let's get that included. We need to probably ought to do some fees for our, citation ordinance too, that we make very clear what the fees are. And that should be brought to the board for what they are,
Our
should be
penalty
set up.
ordinance has to be adjusted?
Well, I think the ordinance is good, but it says no less than. You know,
Oh, yeah,
I think we
gotcha.
really ought to
So we just structure it, gotcha.
have a structure that
Okay.
is
And then this will be up
not
to
somebody
Butch.
determining what it is.
This,
To
well,
report.
So we're gonna do the fee thing.
That too.
Right now, I don't think we need to keep track. If we could do the fee thing, that will be good for that. And then, when we do the fee thing, we're gonna be double, so that we know how much we're gonna charge. So the other discussion is the correct staffing, and I think we need to talk about that later. I don't think we do that today. And then, I do think that maybe we ought to think about our hours,
Correct.
maybe a nighttime
well,
Wednesday night, or a Monday night, or
honestly, I
something.
don't think it has to be nighttime. We have a lot of people come in and say they just wanna have a daytime on a Tuesday or something. They just don't want it, they would like to have a weekday, because some people work only on the weekend.
Well,
So-
what day would that be though, Chrissy? That's what we gotta decide.
Right.
Well, if we're gonna be open on a Saturday, have it Tuesday.
Yeah. I would think, I know Bloomingdale does Tuesdays and Thursdays, I think, and it works well for them. So
I'm gonna tell you, the out-of-staters, they leave on Sunday, and they wish they had some place they could drop their trash on the way home.
So you wanna do 2 days on the weekend?
No,
Oh. Okay.
I'm just telling you,
Right.
You think
People going.
Sunday's better than Saturday in general?
it might be during the summertime.
I like
mean, in the wintertime,
Sunday better
they
because you
don't
get
come out.
Saturday to clean up
Well,
when you're gathering stuff.
some of these other transfer stations or recycle centers have different hours
Mhm.
for summer hours and winter hours.
Mhm. Yes, they do.
But we ought to think about that. I'm not saying, I don't have the answer.
Oh, and I did want to point, obviously, because I was not here last month, one of the comments was to put the hours on the signs. They were intentionally left off because it's so difficult with the way that we currently have our schedule done to put them on there. It's
So
like
I
a
thought
bunch
it
of
was a little
words.
crazy,
It's
the way
like
we do that schedule.
every
Yeah.
Saturday,
For the transfer
except
Yeah.
certain Sundays.
Because, yeah, so it's every Saturday, except for the first Saturday of the month, and then it's that Sunday, unless it falls on a day that's where there's the Sunday. It's just not.
Well,
It should probably be every Sunday for one of the days and then come up with something else.
we still need to go back and visit that and
Yeah.
come up with something better there. And are we still advertising?
As far as I know,
We still got the ad and the reminder.
it should be going on.
The recurring ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, well.
Can I
Sure.
add one thing about, I think Beverly asked, as far as we're currently selling tickets right at the dump, right?
Yes.
If we had non-resident tickets for double the price, you could even have like the tickets be a different color
Color,
or something
right.
to
Yeah.
make it really easy.
Right.
I recommend
So,
pink.
the other thing I would really like to do, it's not that we get a lot of requests, but we do get them consistently to be able to buy them here.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. I've always been, why would we do that? We can't do that. I don't understand why.
What do they want to do?
They want to buy tickets here.
The tickets are numbered, correct?
I thought they've always been able to buy them here.
Nope.
So you just
As
have.
well as
They get
the
the
dump.
free ones here,
Oh, the free
and the
ones
ones
here.
they
I
buy
see.
are at the
And
dump.
part of it, because Butch has always said he doesn't want them sold here, I think. So, but if the board says sell them here, we can sell them here and
I
there.
don't see any reason you couldn't sell them both places. If the tickets are numbered, you
I
have a
would say
block
both
that.
because
On
our hours.
on your fee schedule,
are
have
limited.
that sell them here.
Sure. Take a block of numbers.
There's no reason to limit us from
Yeah,
not
you
being
don't
able to sell
wanna
those.
ruin the sequence.
Right, no.
But as long as it starts with a different sequence.
Right.
Because he is responsible for the ones he gets. So he might be a
Correct.
little concerned with, oh no, then my numbers are off.
Yep.
No,
Well, we could even do a different type of, we could even
Yeah.
put a letter in front of it or
Exactly.
something. Yeah.
sure.
Okay, we kill this?
I think we killed that horse.
I think we killed it.
Yeah.
You got a lot of work, Chrissy. Good, you're off vacation. H6, North Lake SAD update.
I'm not sure how many of you were copied on any emails we've received, but there have been some concerns about, okay. Well, they put so many people on the email, I can't tell who's on there. There's concerns about the way that they're handling their, chemical treatment. And they wanted me to bring a contract to the board meeting.
They're concerned or
Who's
we're
they?
concerned?
Who's
The
they?
North Lake SAD,
North Lake's.
Who's concerned?
North Lake Special Assessment, yes.
They're concerned?
Yes, everybody is for different reasons. So, they, we approved the contract for what was her name?
Jennifer?
Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
And then their process is that she goes in and she does testing, and then she has like a 2-week turnaround to contract with the chemical company. I'm a little baffled by that because I feel like the amount of funds that the chemical company is charging is pretty similar every year. It's just a different, and they tend to stick with the same one. So, needless to say, I got an email, it confused me, apparently, because they said, well, we had to contract with such and such because it was so fast, and can you get it approved at the board meeting? And then I got an email that that said something along the lines of, well, since you didn't approve it fast enough, we paid for it ourselves.
Mhm.
And I said, but I'm confused because I thought you said you wanted, like, you're gonna start paying for it yourself, but please have the board approve it so that we can move forward. And it was just, the emails are not, it's not been great. My original goal was to try to sit down and meet with them and talk through everything. That hasn't worked out so well, partly on me. I will take that. But I think the bigger problem here is this annual chemical contract probably doesn't need to be annual. I don't see why we can't try to get a bid for a longer-term contract.
Like does, 5-year contract.
Yeah, the contract is, but they can adjust.
Right, that's what we're saying.
But the bid for the treatment is different all the time
You
because you
got
have
your
different.
estimate, I mean, you're looking for the estimate to be able to budget for.
Yeah.
Right.
And
But
we
you got a 5-year, you know what to expect. Here, you don't even know what to expect.
And so I'm thinking if we could get, a 5-year contract and say that, you have a range or I don't know a percentage of difference from the estimate, whatever it is. That at least we have a contract with the chemical company and we can just say it's done. Yep, we approve it. One time instead of immediately.
Yeah, that'd definitely be easier from the township standpoint, but I wonder about this Jennifer of why she's doing it the way she is. She may have a reason.
Well, the way that they presented it was that she wanted to get the cheapest deal based upon whatever chemical treatments she's selecting.
Okay. Because she's doing a new analysis every year.
Right.
And so she's getting it, instead of really an estimate, she's getting more of a bid where
Yes.
it's solid.
Yes.
You still could have a range.
And that's what I'm saying, is that while that's all fine and dandy, it's not realistic from a business perspective to do that every single year and be timely.
Well, and
Yeah, I agree with that.
probably at the township end is where it takes more time. They on their own can act quickly.
Northlake, right now, should be going out for their bids
Yeah.
for next year.
And
If
they
they
won't.
want us to approve them by the next, cycle, to be able to start work in May.
Right.
They can't wait till
Right,
get a
but
new
how do
budget.
they know the chemical makeup of the lake in advance?
Well,
But that's where, it's PLM that we deal with
Yeah.
She
through
should be pretty
satellite.
smart to be able to figure
So,
out what she needs.
what
to
I'm
keep
thinking-
that all those degrees.
what I think would be wise is for us to go ahead and put together a bid that shows what the chemical treatments have been for the last 3 years and ask for bids for a contract for an estimated bid for the next 5 years contract. You know how better to word that than I do. But then we can have a 5-year contract with an estimate, and all she has to do is tell them what to put in the lake. And then they can give us an actual price.
Yeah. Without seeing there might be huge dollar advantage from doing competitive bids every time, or maybe it's $500 and it's.
Well, and granted, I
Well, you
have,
can write a contract to the same contractor for a 5-year period.
well,
And that contract can eliminate him to how much the cost is gonna be and how much, it's based on some
which
CIP, increase in chemicals or something that they have, the chemicals have gone up 1% or 2%.
I understand what you're saying, and I think it would be, if we can dig out the information from, obviously I only know the last couple of years, and it's easier to find the last couple of years than the years before.
You should be able to find the information from when they first started this and see what the cost was and take an average and then.
Well-
Jennifer ought to be able to give you copies of what her
Right.
bids were.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure.
Isn't she running that part of it?
We've been
She's doing
asking.
the bid?
She
We've
should
been
be able to. She's the
Yeah.
one doing the analysis.
Would you be willing to talk to Jennifer and see if you can get the last 4 years?
Sure, I can even talk to Jeff.
Yeah, whoever. Get the last 4 years of what the chemical treatment price has been, And
And I can
then,
explain to them about the 5-year contract and they're a lot easier and then they don't have to mess
Well,
around with
I
this
don't think
every
they can
year.
get a 5-year contract, they gotta go to the end of what their existing
Well,
which I
okay.
think is,
special,
yeah,
special assessment is.
That's
which
right.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
just a
That's
few years away, and we'd like to get that settled. I think next year we have to regenerate their special assessment district.
maybe,
It's coming up.
yeah.
I think it's 23 or 23,
23
I
or
think.
24, I mean, it's coming up.
Yeah.
But we'd like to make sure that we don't have any, delays of them doing what they need to do next year, and that's really the goal. And if that means we need to get into contracts with people now than later, then we need to be working now at
Yeah.
achieving that.
Yeah, I remember when they came and presented, that they were,
They were already
it was
behind.
very time sensitive.
Yeah.
They wanted approval right on the spot
Yeah.
that day.
Mhm. And Gary, just so you know, they're probably gonna be a little heated right now. So, and that's not, I mean, it's not, certainly not intentional, it's the way it happens. So I would like to make it so that we don't have tensions between them. I'd like to figure out a way that we can make things work more smoothly. But if you could get all that data to Ken, maybe Ken can, write up a bid that we can talk about at the next board meeting.
Got it.
Fantastic.
Did we fill up?
I hope so.
We're moving on to new business, new fire department paid volunteer, Steve
Civic.
Civic?
Yep, Steve passed all his classes, he's certified now, and we'd like to get him on payroll. Been working with Christie, and got a, Steven's scheduled to come in, I believe, tomorrow, and finish up a couple pieces of paperwork that would, satisfy the requirements of that.
So he's level 1 or whatever you call it now.
Yes.
He's
He's a 1-2, right?
Well,
So, money things, so we're gonna do a roll call vote. Gary?
yes.
Ken, yes. Rhonda's missing. Christie?
Yes.
Bev?
Yes.
Carried.
Just so I can verify that graduation occurred on June 9th.
Okay, good. Moving on to 1-2, Jaws of Life, purchase for the fire department emergency services. We've, had this before us for about a year. We, put money in the budget this year for this.
What's the budget money?
it was approved 46,000.
How much?
46, I believe.
I would like to commend you, Dave, on getting your information together. You got 3 super good bids here. And I did some figuring on this. You know me. And, so I looked at all the stats and what's involved and the equipment that's involved. And I see that there's only one thing that wasn't stipulated, and that was in the TNT bid. Didn't say anything about batteries.
I noticed that too, and I've reached back out, and I haven't heard back. See, the problem was, originally, I reached out to, 3 companies. I got 1 bid back. I reached back out to the 2 that did respond, and I got no response. I then talked to R&R Truck out of Detroit, which is the TNT bid.
Right.
I got a bid from them. They do supply, their jobs will work with either DeWalt batteries or Milwaukee batteries. But you have to buy the specific for that battery.
As long as the battery works in our equipment, doesn't matter.
Well, we have some other Milwaukee equipment, so it means just naturally we're gonna get a Milwaukee battery. We have a couple lights, we're gonna get a Sawzall and a chainsaw battery, Sawzall chainsaw, so we're trying to just keep it simple and keep 1 battery, of course. 1 battery, 1 charger, commonality. The TNT quote, good quote, I like TNT equipment. we're leaning toward really wanting the Genesis, which the quote is over the 46,000, but we've discussed it, and we would be more than willing to give up the combination tool.
Bingo.
To get the Genesis equipment. We want the Genesis equipment for a multitude of reasons. Aaron can attest to it. The people that sell it live an hour, about an hour 15 away.
Right.
They're out of Hastings.
Right.
And they have supplies.
Right.
So if we break something, battery goes bad, we break a cutting blade, whatever, they are 24/7. We'll call them. They'll shoot over, fix whatever we need, and that's taken care of.
Who are you recommending?
Genesis. But he's saying,
Is that MI Rescue Resources?
That's Michigan Rescue Resources LLC.
And you said they're over the limit you have?
Their final quote is $49,674.50.
Why have we got $45,769?
They just sent me another one, and
I was gonna say, this quote is from December.
yeah.
So need, to do the job, and I came up with the same information or decision you did, the combi tool.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the spread, I looked at the cut, I looked at what the spreaders did, I looked at what the combi tool does. So I did quite a bit of looking into this, to be frank with you. And Genesis is a little higher than the Amcus. It's actually, using the figures that I had that you sent, you got about, if you take off the combi tool, you got about $2,000 difference.
but I like that they're local.
The problem is...
Yes, okay.
Let me finish. I think that, what was your figure less the combi tool?
It's $37,232.50.
Dave, can I see that bid?
I can email it to all you.
What's
You know
the,
what, Dave, email it to Kara and she can print it really quick for everybody.
now you got a mini crash kit on here of, it's only $225, but I think there's an error in here.
In which one, Genesis?
There's a window punch, a V-blade, heavy duty, whatever that, cutter.
Does he have something?
It says a 7-inch pry bar. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be 7-foot pry bar. I don't know what you'd use a 7-inch pry bar on. Some utility shears, some blue and yellow paint markers, and a pouch to keep it all in.
That is generally, that would be our window.
I won't say that out loud.
Cut windshields, window punches.
No, I understand what the punch is.
All the little critters like that.
I mean, you can get a punch pen out of Harbor Tools for $5.
Yeah, and they break in 5 seconds.
Well,
That cutter's pretty amazing on that crash kit.
stabilization base for this lifting and evolution spreader. What is that for $725?
The base they shove underneath when they start to cut to prevent. Sorry, go ahead, guys. You can explain it better than I can.
What was the question again?
He's asking about the
stabilization
base.
That's gonna help prevent the car from going, like what Christy was saying, is prevent the car from bustling under the pressure when you're.
Are those inflatables?
Are they what?
Inflatables.
No, we don't.
No, they're like wedges.
Okay, so it's the wedges like you have now that you use.
Yeah. Well, we know, it's not coming with any new, chalking kits.
It's what?
The
The
crib,
stabilization stuff that.
chalk kits or cribbing doesn't come with the chalk.
He's asking about the stabilization base.
That's the thread base or the V base, are you talking?
Stabilization base, the Model D.
I'm talking about the TL9 Model D. Stabilization base used for lifting.
Evolutions with the spreader.
The last item on our copy.
It's the last item.
Okay, so when you're lifting with your spreader,
The other ones we were talking about were for the ram. This one is a base that you set the spreader in to stabilize it, so if you're lifting with a spreader, it doesn't want to do, if the vehicle starts to move, or if say we're working on a blueberry farm, or we're in a factory trying to move a piece of equipment, or get some distance so we can get somebody unentangled from a piece of factory equipment at one of the blueberry plants. That base will keep that, because the jaw's only about that wide. So it will keep it from wanting to shift. You get a wider base, you set it right in, and then that way you can spread with it. And it's got a footprint to keep it from slipping.
Okay. Cost was what?
$37,232.50. And I would be willing to make a motion if you're entertaining one.
And what?
So that is your recommendation, Dave?
Yeah, we want the Genesis.
Christie made a motion, do I have a second?
No, let me make my motion. My motion is to move forward with purchasing from Genesis at a cost not to exceed $39,000, just in case there's any issues.
Genesis included shipping.
Yes, $300.
Right.
Do I have a second?
I'll support.
There was a second. Christie made the motion. Roll call vote, Gary?
What's the not to exceed?
$39,000.
$39,000, not to exceed.
It gives just a little over $1,000 leeway. I'm sorry, a little less than $2,000 leeway in case there's an issue.
I'll support it.
Gary's a yes, Ken's a yes, Rhonda's absent, Christie?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you very much. We're going to, I'm going to pull all the certifications we have on our existing TNT equipment, our hydraulic stuff. I'm going to see if there's a value to it and try to sell it.
You won't keep it for a backup?
We thought about it, but we actually have, what my thought was, is if we can sell the main portion of the equipment that we've just replaced, and actually, we have a spare head that's a single head to power one piece of equipment at a time. We could take that, put it on 22 that sits here in Grand Junction, and keep our combi tool that we're not purchasing, that way we have a backup, and we're covered.
That's hydraulic.
Full set, yes.
So just bring to the board the list of items that you want to, sell, and what you think the value, some value to them. If you can prove the value, that's better, but.
I'll get a hold of, I'll talk to, be very articulate when I say his name, talk to the Funks. Steve and, what's her name? Yeah, the Funks.
Yeah.
And see what they think. I may even call over to Wisconsin, talk to TNT, and see if they have an idea of what they think would be worth.
Yeah.
Might be able to go on, Firehouse Forum and see if, maybe some other, fire department could use some of that equipment.
Well, I can tell you, don't get your hopes up, because all the hydraulic stuff is dinosaur, and a lot of it anymore, our training captain is the instructor at BBISD, and they just got equipment donated because everybody's replacing their hydraulics with batteries.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sure.
I mean, best case scenario, maybe $500 or $1,000, I'm thinking, to a fire department in the UP that doesn't have, they can't afford new stuff.
Yep.
So, but I'll do some checking.
Okay.
Moving on to numbers 1-3 or I-3.
If it's acceptable, 4 AM comes really early, so if we're done talking fire department. All right, thank you very much.
Determine dates for the, free dump day if we're interested in doing that again.
What did you say is the?
I can tell you what they should be.
I was gonna say that's the third.
They empty the trash compactor the third week of every month.
Third week of every month.
It's a
Okay.
schedule. So, the free dump days for September should be the 20th and
Don't they have it in August?
August, yeah.
Or August, yeah, okay, whatever. It should be the, I wrote it here. It should be
So the 20th and 21st?
It's the what? 20th and 21st, I believe, yeah.
Okay. So Saturday, August 20th and Sunday, August 21st is free dump days.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second. I'll support.
Gary, supported it. Roll call vote, Gary?
Yes.
Ken is a yes, Rhonda's absent, Christie?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
That was too simple. Meeting of the whole discussion. We have a lot of major things that are, coming up. A lot of roads that we're losing culverts on and need repair. We have, a lot of issues with the cemetery of, probably neglect over the years. We got, a lot of new stuff with the election.
Let's just say we spent the last 2 hours discussing it. We could be doing some of that in a committee of the whole meeting.
And it, would probably be wise if we sat down and talk about big picture type stuff where we're not really making any decisions, but kind of lay out a lot of the issues that one of us might know more about that can share with the others. So it'd be like a sharing of information. We're gonna have an agenda item, maybe,
We'll have to have, topic list.
We'll have like a small agenda, but it's gonna be open to anything that's on anyone's mind that we need to try to fix, resolve, or talk about to see where we wanna go with it. And it's basically what we're looking for here is just if everyone else wants a meeting of the whole and maybe what date you would like to have it.
So you're saying a regular meeting of the whole?
Generally, they have them right before the board meeting.
To the public,
Yeah, I don't wanna
but
do
we
that.
would, not be making
I would
any
like to do it
decisions
a
at
week
that
or two
meeting,
before.
just talking about all the issues that,
I'd like to split it up.
before us. That, if somebody might want more information, or some things that we're working on, like, talking about putting on a soccer field, or taking the dirt there and leveling off the baseball field, or taking all the trees down on the Hellhaven Trail that have fallen down and
And it
damage.
could also be used as a scheduled time to have some of the other smaller committee meetings if we don't have a lot on the agenda for the committee as a whole. So, we could use it as a flexible time. Because we did not schedule it at the beginning of our year, it would be special board meeting posts.
Be a special meeting every time.
Which is okay, because I could just make one and then, just change a couple things in it. And you do need to put, because it's a special meeting, we have to have topics on there, so people know what we're talking about. But to me, it makes sense to do something maybe a week or two before, so we're kind of breaking things up and giving ourselves some time to think about things and discuss them in a little more detail, before we're sitting in a board meeting until 10, 11 o'clock at night discussing things.
I don't wanna get away from transparency of having
No.
these meetings where we talk in front of people, but
Well-
I do think we have some bigger issues that need this meeting of the whole to.
And to be very clear, committee of the whole is always a public meeting.
And it would prevent, because a lot of times, I know we're not all always looped into what's going on, because we're
Right.
not always shared with.
Right, so if we broke it up a little bit more and we're connecting as a group in a more frequent basis, it would be a little bit easier for everybody to stay looped in.
Doesn't matter to me.
At the same time, that's one more.
Well,
meeting.
I don't think, and my personal opinion is that we should be able to do our work once a month. I really think when you have more meetings, then you're gonna have less public, involvement or public awareness of what we're doing, so.
I like the way,
But I do think
county
right now
does it.
we have enough
I
stuff
don't
that
wanna
warrants
hide.
us all to get together and try to vent out what what the right things to do in a couple of areas where we're headed, because we got some costs coming up that's
They're
gonna,
actually changing their.
gonna hit us hard.
To what,
Well,
afterwards?
from what
Yeah,
you're
they're changing
saying,
it
you can
to-
schedule one or two now, and you don't have
I
to
saw something too about them
commit to
changing
doing
it.
the whole year.
Are you
but-
guys changing
Yeah,
your committee of the whole
I'd only like to
schedule? It's
schedule one
different
right
now.
now, and then see how that goes, and see if it's beneficial, and if, how many people are on board with what we're doing, and if somebody's got a problem, they need to tell us what we need to do to fix it.
Yeah, and I always find it helpful during budget season, not just have it all here, because there's too much detail to have it
Yeah.
with a small.
Well, why don't, for starters, why don't we just have a couple meetings to?
Well, I like to do one for starters, and then
Yeah.
figure out what we think at the end of that, if we need to have another one.
Yeah.
And with Beverly on planning commission, we need to be considerate
Mhm.
of her timing with that.
Yeah.
Good time to have it when she's at that meeting, right?
No.
That's always a really long.
Hey, that works for me.
Well, if that's really what she wants, we could do it at 5 o'clock before hers.
Well, maybe we should do it the day before hers, if she has conflicts.
Oh, we don't want to do that. That's mean, Ken.
Okay,
You guys are so.
Pick a date and time.
So do we want, I mean, I'm okay with doing that, if that's convenient for you, we could do it at 5 o'clock on planning commission night.
No, I don't really want to.
Okay.
you wanna do it when the planning commission meeting's over?
That's too
Does
much.
this have to be in the evening?
No,
Right.
You got a Saturday morning if you want.
it could be during the day,
Give me enough time, I could cook breakfast for her.
I will say that,
Sometimes sounds good.
during the day, during the week,
How
it's
about
a
an
little bit
afternoon?
limited.
What about Saturday morning?
Saturday morning's fine to me.
Saturday mornings don't work for me,
No.
7 o'clock?
but you guys are.
Well, what about Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock?
Or any other afternoon?
Or,
Yeah,
yeah,
any other
or any
right
other
at
afternoon.
After the office is closed, maybe, so that.
If we do an afternoon.
Oh, wait, but you work during the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably Friday would be the only day that I could do that during the week. So,
So Friday, August 5th at 1 o'clock?
I could do that.
That's the day of my granddaughter's wedding, so.
Oh, is it? So that's
Anytime
a no.
after that,
Oh,
I'm
my
not flexible and
Well,
before
she's,
that, but
she's gonna struggle for this one.
for this whole month, yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh,
this one.
so regardless
Oh,
of
we,
when.
Right.
we don't need to do this right away, why don't
But
you,
you guys could do the first one without me.
Well, let's just do the first one we can schedule it now for September, that's fine with
let's
me.
do it in September.
Yeah.
What's good for you, Beverly?
I'm pretty flexible after this, and hopefully no one else is getting married in the next 9 months.
What about the first Friday in September?
That's the second? That works.
Wait a
Or
minute.
the 9th?
Or the 9th, yeah.
Labor Day's when? First, second. Fifth?
Oh, yeah, we
Fifth?
probably don't wanna do it the second. Let's
Yeah,
do it the 9th.
yeah. I'll say. September 9th at 1 o'clock?
You gotta start with.
Did you say December or September?
September.
September.
Did you say 10 o'clock, Gary?
No,
1 o'clock.
because the office is open during
I don't
that
care.
That's fine with me.
If the office is open, honestly, to me, it doesn't
Okay,
matter if the office.
you to make the time.
If it,
I'm good,
1 o'clock, 'cause the office will be closed.
Yeah.
The September 9th at 1 o'clock. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
That's PM. Meeting hold.
Oh, 1 AM, that might be more fun.
I'm awake.
Me too.
Me too.
So because that's considered
three
a
of us.
special meeting, it's still gotta have a quorum.
Correct.
Right, so it's
Correct.
all the official rules.
You still need to,
It
that's
has to
right.
be posted.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Yeah, if this ends up working for us, we can put it on our regular schedule and, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, I-5, we got, pay a little money out, or authorize some money to be paid to the road commission. On the 14th Avenue culvert repair, the total estimate is $64,277.52. Township's, share of that is 50% of the cost, which gets us down to $32,138.76. There's currently budget money, due to, expenses that we, haven't paid to the county road for the other work. I threw some, additional money in there for contingency this year. That gives us a little extra money, but.
24,000?
Yeah, we'd have at least 24,000 of, excess money. However, we're gonna have more of this, and, we're gonna have to do a budget amendment to pick up the other roads. And, I thought I had them listed. They're gonna be in the next thing we talk about. So what I sent you is, the cost of 14th Avenue, what it's gonna cost in here, and I guess I'm looking for someone to make a motion to approve the payment of the $32,138.76 to County Road for repairing 14th Avenue culvert.
When is this scheduled?
I don't think this is gonna happen until after a lot of the other
October,
road construction.
November?
Yeah, if you're gonna be out late in the year. They just don't have the manpower right now. They're trying to right now go out for bids. And what they're hearing from the bids is that, they're not gonna be able to schedule it till later. And they can't tell me exactly when.
But it is on their radar to get this.
It's something that has to be done.
Okay.
And they wanna get it at the end of the season when contractors still have time to get some work done.
Okay.
So, and that's what's gonna happen when we get into I-6, when we go over the other
Well, I
stuff.
move we authorize the, 32,138.76 for the 14th Avenue culvert repair.
Gary's made a motion. Can I get a second?
That's for.
Beverly, seconded it. Roll call vote. Gary?
Can we do discussion still?
Yeah, you got a discussion. Fine.
I just wanted to mention, because I see in here there's, Ken's asking if things should come out of the road budget or the drain budget, in a couple of them. The drain budget, the one I'm looking at right now is roads. We've spent about 41% of that so far, but there's more money left in roads than there is in drains, so just to keep that in mind.
We do have a lot of that earmarked for other stuff though, I know.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we're only paying as we go here.
But still, just tying it in the budget.
Correct.
And so the drains at large only had 2,700 in the budget,
We understand that.
right?
Right.
Well, when people are making decisions, they should have.
When we get into I-6, we're gonna talk about a budget amendment to include all these other ones. And I'm probably gonna be asking somewhere around $150,000 into the drain one after we talk about these.
Okay.
I figure which one's gotta go where. I have a ideal about what this might cost, but I estimate yet.
Okay.
But we need to budget and get a budget
Right.
amendment, so we're not gonna do a budget amendment today. We're gonna talk about it and decide where it goes, then I can develop a budget amendment.
Okay.
And it's probably gonna take care of the county road commissioning budget amendment, and it's gonna take care of the
Right.
drains.
Well, I have a question on I-5. In I-5, I have a question.
I-5?
Yes.
Sure, go ahead.
Section we're on right now. The old Joe Louis farm
Okay, so,
says to place a drainage system in the old Joe Louis farm?
all right, hold on just a second. That statement probably should not have been put in I-5. This is specifically for 14th Avenue.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been, I don't know why I got that there. That should have been down below.
Yeah.
Is it down below?
No, you've got 14th
I
Avenue
probably,
culvert
that
repair.
should have been done with,
So estimated cost
County Road
64,000.
should have been with 46.
Yeah, that doesn't fit.
So you want that for discussion?
46th Street, that's
Yeah.
1B, that should be with 1B, 16B.
And I have no question.
I didn't think you did. Where are we at? We got a motion and a second, we done with discussion?
Yes, I am. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone else.
I think it's time to vote, Gary?
Yes.
Rhonda's not here, she's absent. Ken, yes. Christie?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna forget. Beth?
Yes.
Good. So we took care of the culvert repair. We're gonna discuss the budget and drain versus road work. I'm having a little problem trying to figure out which one's drained and which one's, road, so.
So my suggestion is that we talk to the accountant. Cause
Okay.
I believe that there are reasons for putting things in certain accounts, so I think the accountant should.
Does the accountant know that?
Yes.
Okay, who's the accountant?
Siegfried Crandall.
Thank you.
Who is it?
Siegfried Crandall,
Oh, our attorney?
CPA.
No, CPA.
Where's she at?
Foster Swift.
Foster Swift is the attorneys.
Okay, we're gonna have them
Crandall.
look at this.
Yeah, we can have them look at
You
it.
gonna talk to them, or you want me to talk to them?
I can talk to him. I'll just shoot him an
Give me a
email.
number, I'll talk, yeah.
Josh is pretty responsive, so I'll just shoot Josh an email and tell him what we're talking about.
Well,
and
that will help, and if you give me that information, I will generate the budget amendment.
I'll just CC you on the email.
There you go.
I still have a question, just now that it's in the right place. So, a new drain district needs to be generated for 46 and County Road 384 through the old Joe Louis property, where there used to be a farm drainage tile to Great Bear Lake. So, we would need to pay to go through, so how does that work? You pay to go, it's gonna cross private property, so,
When you stop talking, I'll tell you.
thank you.
Knock it off.
This is,
We have a drain commissioner, and somebody has to petition for a drain to be put in there. And when he does that, he'll come up with a cost study. We will end up paying 20% of that. The drain commission will pay 20% of that, and the district, the new district that they have will pay.
So the
The rest
people
of it.
in the area that are impacted by the drain will be
People that are
charged to
getting
pay.
the water drained through there will end up paying for that.
So the people that own this property that is,
Not just that property, the drain district, which is basically half of Michigan, puts water down into Little Bear Lake.
can they,
they're assessed that in their tax bill.
Yeah.
so they say, hey, I don't want this going
They'll have
across
a
my property?
public hearing.
Yeah.
They'll have a public hearing, they'll have the opportunity to come in and complain, and,
When I had,
Typically, they aren't a whole lot on each bill, though.
No.
when I had my paintball field, there was a bunch of water all over the place. And a couple of the homes were getting their backyards flooded. So I petitioned to have a drain put in. This was in Geneva Township. So they did the public hearing, did all the petitions, everything else, and they put a drain in there, and then they assessed all of the people in that drain area.
They benefited from it.
Benefit from it,
Yes,
because a lot of the houses then were a lot drier.
like the
Yeah.
streetlights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sure you're in a drain district now, and you get
Yeah.
a little balance
Probably.
on your bills to
I
pay.
don't believe so.
It's probably on your tax bill.
Oh,
Send
I probably
it back
never
in.
noticed it.
Well, every single drain around here doesn't get an assessment every
Right.
time, though. So
Oh,
you
okay.
might notice it for a couple of years, and then you have no
Yeah,
extra charge.
sometimes
for
we
it.
have people calling like, I didn't have this on my bill last year. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you do this year.
Nobody worked on the drain that year.
I love that property. If I won the lottery, that's the kind of home I'd buy. I'd stay right here.
This one,
Yes.
except for she's trapped.
It's,
Well, it's interesting how they're gonna go through the Joe's property.
it's
The
run down.
property
It's
is
gonna be
gone,
interesting.
yeah, it's run down.
Right, I know.
Mhm.
It kills me to see that little dollhouse just falling apart. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I almost want to go volunteer and fix it.
Okay, we done with that?
Yeah.
Chrissy's gonna get that, and then I'll, get you a budget amendment.
Can I make a comment if you're talking about budget amendments?
Yep.
This little slip that you gave us, for the report on the budget for the first quarter.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
The cemetery, we've already spent 71% of our budget at 25% of the year. You know, just, that needs to be looked at,
We talked about a budget amendment
and
for
maybe
that.
that's gonna be in a committee of the whole.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that is
we would
another
have it
reason.
there, but we're probably gonna do a budget amendment for that.
Well, I would like to see quarterly financial statements, so we don't get 3/4 of the way into the
Yeah.
end of the year and then say, uh-oh, where's all this money and how was it spent? Now we don't have any money left? We have to have an amendment? Nah, I don't wanna go there.
What Dr.
Saying
Sherrer
stay within
referred
the
to.
dot.
Stay within, that's
Within
right.
budget.
Well, the accountant made it very clear that most municipalities have multiple amendments, and we actually did very well last year. I think we had one or two. So they were really, they're really surprised when that happens. just to be clear, it is normal to have a balance.
And we had a great budget.
Yeah.
I think we ended up with a great budget this year. And I actually thought it looked really good and achievable, but there's just things that popped up.
Oh, I think you did a great job on the budget, and the committee did a good job. We did a good job on the budget, but like you said, some of these, collapsed drain or,
The drains are gonna kill us?
Yeah.
Karen, what slip of paper were you referring to?
If you look on, it's item I-6, the attachments at the bottom,
Oh,
it's 7/14/22
the budget report.
budget,
Yeah.
it's on the same thing.
Okay, I thought you had
So
something.
she's reading more than I wanted her to read. I should have blanked that
Okay.
off.
No.
Yeah, all you need is the drain
No,
stuff.
no. The duty is to look at, this should be out every
Right,
quarter
yeah.
anyway,
The
and that's the whole purpose, is to stay on track.
And that's
You
part
have-
of our
you
repair.
have-
Budget
you have
transparent
access
when you
to
can
that
blank
any
things
day.
out.
And that's part of the
Well,
reason
I
why I
did.
want the cemetery
Well, you
committee,
should have,
because we
you're
need
the
to be
treasurer,
evaluated.
Stephanie.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
I mean, I even have access to that.
Well, that's what
I look at that a
when I
lot.
noticed that you had that, I thought, this is a good report, that,
I made it.
Okay.
did you? Did you customize this report?
No. Okay, we kill I-6?
Yes.
I put I-7 on here because there's some confusion between a blight ordinance and the litter vehicle machinery storage ordinance.
Easy solve.
They're really the same.
Yeah, the word was throwing it off, for sure.
All you have to do is add one word, and where Christie already changed and said it was resolved, or not.
I can add one word to that,
And
or I
just
can
put
put a
litter in there.
parenthesis around the end of it and say blight ordinance.
And just put litter in there. That's all you gotta do.
I put,
Because litter's in the
Well, what do
ordinance.
people refer to it as? Don't they usually say blight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think litter confuses them, honestly.
Yeah, I do too, and I don't remember why we ever.
All right, litter, people think is a trash bag you throw out the window.
Yes,
Right.
that's what I said.
Right. And I
That was
think
the
an
attorney's
attorney at the time
Without alcohol
told us
bottles
to use
in it.
that, but I didn't look to see who it was at the time.
It was not Foster Swift.
Oh,
Was
I'm
it
sure
Catherine?
it was earlier than that. It might have been
I
Catherine,
thought
or
it
it
was
might have been
Catherine.
Dave Peterson.
2018,
So I guess,
I don't think we had any help on that.
should we send it to the attorney and say, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, can't we just
You already have, excuse me.
I think we put blight in front of litter, blight comma litter.
Yeah.
Bring it
Okay,
back
so
to
we're
the board, approve it, we're done.
No, you
No?
put
I'm not
litter,
doing an ordinance.
no. We're talking about what you already changed,
just the file name?
just the file name, back behind where you said replaced by 2018, whatever. Just put the name litter.
No, it says litter. They need to add
Litter
blight.
in vehicle.
You
No.
got it the other way around.
Litter, I
here.
mean, look up litter. What's the definition? If it has a
Why
good enough
don't you look in your
definition,
little
leave
ordinance
it
that
how
you
it
have
is.
there, it says what litter is.
No, I'm talking about when you pull up your ordinance.
I know what you're saying.
Okay, when you pull up the ordinances, and you go down.
So, the
Litter.
problem, yeah,
Garbage, scrap, waste.
we need to do a codification resolution.
So you don't think you could just change
I
the
don't
file
think-
name to add like a point blight? Because it's only for the sake of the search. It wouldn't be to actually change the ordinance.
That's right.
Oh, this
You
is
get
for
what I
people to
mean?
look it up.
Yeah,
That's
when you're
it.
trying
Oh,
to search
that's it.
online.
Right.
I think I might, might even be a way that I can just put a keyword in there, maybe.
Come on,
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
too simple.
I would say
Yeah.
put blight and then any other ordinances that fall under that can also be referred to.
Well, I did update the other one, the blight one.
Right, so it now
Right.
says it's no longer in use
Right.
or whatever, replaced by.
Right. Which
Yeah.
is how they all, you know.
That's where I'm
There's
saying
more
all
of
you-
them
all
like
you have
that.
to do
I
is
need
put-
the same remark.
That's
If
where I'm saying.
you, if you find them, let me know.
We
I'll
only
fix
find
them.
them when we're searching for some reason.
I know. I found 3 of them today.
I mean, Christie already took care of the problem.
Well, except for if you go in
Except for if
there,
you're a stranger trying to go on the website and find it.
All you gotta do is put litter behind that.
Honey, you have to put blight on it. It already says litter.
The
Sorry, we're
ordinance-
married and normally
the
board
ordinance-
members don't call
the
each other honey.
And we're gonna be
And
married
that's-
40 years.
Yeah.
wow.
We're getting past 9 o'clock.
we're getting punchy here.
You're
Okay.
getting punchy. Okay, you know what to do with that one, Christie? You got ice out.
She does.
I do.
You don't need any board action on that.
No, I do think, I want the board to understand that at some point, I do think we need to codify, and, it's not something I'm willing to take on now, but just know that someday, down the road, I will be approaching that. Okay.
What do you want it to be, a blight ordinance?
No, codifying is taking all of our ordinances and putting them into an organized fashion. But you have to actually pass a resolution to do that. So, and then you have to actually do it.
I don't think you need a resolution to put things in an organized fashion.
What she's saying is to be able to look it up on the internet, it'll be a index of all of them.
Yeah, we had this discussion that a table of contents has to be a legal document. So,
We're not gonna talk about that right now.
You guys are getting off subject matter, let's go to one
Too
eight.
technical.
1-8,
Okay, moving on.
I'm moving forward with or without you. 2022-2022 credit card usage policy resolution.
Yep. Okay, so these are, I'm sorry that these came late today, but as you all know, we've had some credit card issues. So, I looked at our credit card usage policy and resolution, and this is not a whole lot different than that. That's the first thing I want to state. It is pulled from MTA. The adjustments I made are in B and C. And there is one in I. Other than that, I did not adjust much, and I will admit right now, I am asking to have this passed without a lot of effort and time put into looking at every single word in this. I did take it from MTA, I'm going to say it again. And the reason why is because we are having some issues with timeliness, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed those. So again, it's not a whole lot different than the prior one. The one thing this does do is rescind the prior 3 that are currently active.
Well, and Christie, because when I was first looking at my agenda and attachments, this wasn't on there yet.
Right.
So the one, are you saying that you wrote a new one?
Yes.
And that's the -23?
Correct. I'm on 22.
You changed 22. Okay, so that's the policy. So that would replace this one? Or?
Yeah, it replaces all 3 of them that we had.
Okay.
22 is a resolution.
Yes, it's a resolution with an attached policy. The resolution is to adopt the policy.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I'm following you.
So you'll see under, so in the MTA format, most of this was just copy-paste. At the end of MTA's little comment thing, they say, we also recommend that you do identify which roles. So I put that in B. And they also recommended this form that's at the bottom. So I also adjusted this to state that all credit card receipts, invoices must be submitted via email. Or, and I did put the or other electronic format with timestamp because if we get to the point where things can, we're using more of BSNA, it's possible he could just load things in there, other people could just load things in there, and that would timestamp it.
So this language, as soon as possible, submit by email or other, that's what was changed?
Yes.
Well, and when we were doing the policy a couple of years ago, I don't like ambiguity. I can't say the word.
Ambiguity.
You know what I mean, right? Like that, as soon as possible is like, well, I couldn't get it done for a month. So
Yeah,
you can
but-
have a reasonable timeline in there.
Well, what do we want the reasonable timeline to be? Because
I don't
this
know,
is what
what's reasonable?
I don't know, and that's.
I don't do this job, so
Right.
I can't answer that.
So the reason why I didn't put a timeline is because, let's say somebody goes to a conference, and they're gone for a week. They may not be able to submit anything until they get back for whatever reason. Like, I know most of the time we do have access to email while
10
we're
days
at conference,
reasonable.
but. Yes, but honestly, I'd like to have it in 24 hours if they can.
Well, even if they're at a conference, they can,
I
they
could
can
put-
take a picture of it and send it on their,
I could say as soon as possible, but no later than 10 days.
something like that. I just think if you don't put a deadline on something, it's useless, really.
Okay?
Well, and since I cannot vote, but I know this impacts the treasurer also, obviously, you know I'm gonna agree that we need to have something. That's for sure. But I would be uncomfortable passing something that the actual treasurer has not even seen. Can this be a first read? I know we want it. I mean, meanwhile, we're going along with what is in place, but we haven't been enforcing it. So unless we enforce, none of them are.
Well, the problem, okay, so part of the problem is when I went to look to see what I could enforce, we have 3 active resolutions and policies.
How do we have 3?
Because nobody rescinded when you approved the next ones, they didn't rescind the prior ones.
Well, wouldn't you go by the most recent one?
Not unless you rescind the prior one.
Unless it says supersedes.
So you
or-
feel your hands are tied right now?
Yep.
Well, do you see any problem with resolution 2022?
And this is the thing, I'm okay.
That's the one I'm looking.
Let's be clear that I said, I'm saying I'm asking that it be passed tonight, but I also said that I have not had a chance to deep dive on some of the MTA wording.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to I'm not opposed to coming back and revisiting it. I would really like to have something in place.
You'd rather have something tonight than nothing, even if it gets revised.
Yes.
It's got blank pages, right?
Yes, it does that
doesn't matter,
sometimes.
right?
No, it does that sometimes. I don't know why.
Does this, I didn't read it all through yet, does this one say it rescinds the other ones, or don't you
Yes,
wanna do that
it
until
does.
we're for sure done with it?
It
Does the
says,
resolution say that?
yes, the resolution says that.
What does the
That-
resolution say?
The resolution, the last paragraph that we're talking about right now says that all prior resolutions and parts of
Yeah,
prior resolutions and the policy, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe we need to just put that on all our resolutions from now on, so
We
that we don't have
normally
this
do.
problem again.
We normally do, but it didn't happen prior, all the time. Sometimes it did happen prior, but it didn't on this one for some reason.
I think part of it is one of them was a policy, and the other ones were resolutions. And that was.
So, but what's really, when I was looking at it, they were all kind of, like, some of them said the same things as the other ones, but they were only off by, like,
They
a
probably
sentence here or
couldn't
there.
find what the old one was.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that I have them scanned in, I can find them. Yeah,
Because it's more searchable.
right. So that's I would like to pass it. It does create an extra step for people who are using credit cards, which I don't think is a bad thing, and we should be responsible with that. So,
But this does not speak to limits at all. So
No.
does
it does not.
Should that be incorporated?
Policy use.
I don't know. I didn't.
We have another limit that you can spend.
Oh, yeah, we have it under how much you can spend, yeah.
We already got that covered.
Yeah, but that may not be the same as what you want to say is okay to do on a card.
On a card, that's right.
I mean,
Well,
I would
it
hope
means
we're not
spending
doing
on a card or
gigantic
not.
expenditures
Right.
on a card.
Well, yeah,
Well, I thought the credit cards had limits.
That's what
That's
I'm
what she's asking.
I'm saying this resolution does not address putting a limit on
no,
credit cards.
and it did not say anywhere in
The credit card
that.
itself has a limit.
But
When you get them.
we get to
We
set that.
have to, yeah, that has to be established by us,
Yeah.
unless,
I think the supervisor's like $500.
No.
That's your
And
spending limit,
we-
that's not your credit card
We
limit.
set that. So, MTA did not suggest putting that in here. That doesn't mean that we can't.
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah.
Because on
So,
one or two of the old ones, we did.
yeah, I know, I saw them, and so this is my concern about, if we put the limits in there, then you obviously have to revisit it more often.
Yep.
And I think there was one that I read somewhere that, they did like and this is astronomical from my perspective, but they did a $25,000 total limit for the whole township, and then it was appropriately
Split.
Divided.
Yeah.
There was a mention of, doing the budget that, the card limit should not be more than 5% of the, budget.
Oh,
For the budget.
yeah.
Yeah. There is a statement like that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So that's already in there then. We already have it covered.
But as far as individuals using it, it's just common sense that your spending limit,
Well, yeah.
regardless of how you're paying, is your spending limit. So
Right.
you can't go over what you are allowed to spend without board approval.
Correct.
Just because you're using the credit
Correct.
card.
Right, but the
Yep.
credit card
And everyone
is
knows
riskier
that.
from the standpoint of
It's
if it's
true.
ever late, then you've got these bigger and bigger
Right.
interest and
Then
penalties.
you got interest
So
charge.
that's why
right.
I don't think your limits should match. These limits for credit cards should be lower than what your overall spending is.
So I think that if the 5% is fine with, which is already spelled out in our spending policy. One of the policies, we already have that 5% mark in. Might be our Appropriations Act, I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Well, I have no idea right now what the biggest possibility under the 5% would be.
I'd have to look at the
How scary
budget.
that might be.
Okay, well, the problem, we come back, because this is full circle now. You had limitations before, and you had procedures to follow before, and you had, if whoever had the card didn't follow them, then there was ramifications. None of those were ever followed. They were never supported. They were never used. It just kind of floated off somewhere.
And that's one of the reasons why I want to have this documented via email or electronic formats. We have timestamps in hopes that that will make it easier for us to be able to enforce.
Well, I understand.
I hear what you're saying. So it's
I
not just
understand
I put
logic
it
in
under
that.
your door and
Yep.
the dog ate it.
Receipts and, stuff like that should have, they've got that on there as well. So, I don't have a problem with that.
I don't know if it addresses it, but have we talked about those rare events when the bill is due and we don't have a receipt yet?
I put that in here.
Okay, where is that?
It's under I put, in the case that proper documentation is not submitted, the clerk shall submit a warrant under account 101-101-999-999 and prompts the board and/or its assigned representative to follow the appropriate steps to secure documentation and/or payment from the cardholder.
So your intention then from that is paying on time even if you don't have it. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's the 60 days,
That's what it's,
Okay.
so it's not really on time. They have 60 days.
Because that, that's the scary part,
Yeah.
is the interest and fees that chalk up during that time.
So that would allow for 1 to 2 late fees by the time it was paid.
it says including interest due.
I don't know if we'd still be married 40 years if I didn't pay these on time.
Yeah. So I did want to throw something in there so that we could do something if we need to. Again, I put those couple little changes in there. I'm perfectly happy with revisiting this again if we need to. But I would really love to get it approved tonight, and then if we look at it later and say we do want to have some changes, I'm not opposed to that.
I don't want to be difficult, but I'm going to say one other thing. We have this come up pretty often at this table, and I'm over there. where stuff just appears in the packet just before, and then it's expected to be voted on. And I think we need to do better on that in general, regardless of what it is. This isn't an emergency yet, but I'm in favor of having it. But I have to make that comment because that has been something that
I've been
we wanna,
pretty good about providing things for a first read. I really try hard to not just surprise people with things, but I came back to a big surprise. So.
oh, right, and
I
I'm
was
not
sitting here
saying
thinking the
this, by the
same.
way.
Karen.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying that.
Yeah.
Anybody that brings something forward and it's last minute, there's pretty much always a reason it's last minute.
Yep.
But it's still not really fair to the board to
Right.
be in that position. Like when I go to a store and they say the sale's only for today, and you have to buy it today, I don't buy it.
Well,
And this is to fix the credit card situation that we're in right now?
this is part of the fix.
This won't fix it.
This is part of the fix. It actually will fix a little something. So,
Just fix a lot.
And, my point is, if
That
it's
we-
been this long,
We've had this, and
Yes.
it hasn't mattered,
no, we haven't had this.
because but
No,
we had
but we've
very
had-
similar, and
we've had
whoever
some-
it hasn't mattered to.
that's right.
Didn't know that it wasn't legal, or because the other one hadn't been rescinded or whatever. I'm not opposed to it, I'm just saying, it's just like flight, we can do all the ordinances we want, if we don't
This
enforce
does-
it means nothing.
This does meet some of the requirements that we have for the next ordinance we're gonna talk about.
well,
So you've got something in tandem.
I do, because I want to move forward with PNC.
Oh, okay.
And the whole letter C with the form at the end is going to help to some extent with our current situation.
And that's what I was gonna ask, is there a particular part in here that you're particularly thinking is important for immediate versus?
Yeah, along with I, honestly, but yeah. I'm really hoping that C and the form are gonna do it,
Aye.
but I might have to come into play.
I got into writing mode without realizing it, okay.
So let me just, as an example then, we have, 4 card holders, and the secretary's one, right?
Let's pretend she is.
Oh, okay, no, that's Amazon.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Payment.
make a different example.
Oh.
Kim, so are you saying from this that they are electronically sending in this other sheet that you have on here, page 4?
Yep, along with the receipt.
Okay, so they're supposed to look up the general ledger account?
Yes.
Oh. Now,
They've
what if
done-
you
they've-
don't,
that's
what
what
if
it
you
was
don't
before.
agree with their
That's what
general
it was
ledger
before.
selection?
Then I will go back to them.
Then you would switch it, but you're saying
Dave
this is what
Dave
their
Johnson
intent
should
is.
be putting down what account he's taking.
I wasn't naming names.
I'm giving
In
it.
fact, I said Ken.
Well, Ken would too.
Yeah, everyone
So that
should
is
attempt
part
to do
of-
that, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't expect everyone to know everything, don't get me wrong. If they come to me and they say, I'm not really sure what account to put here, this is what it's for, that's the other reason why the purpose of the purchase is there, then I can say, well, here are some options. Let's look at it.
Overall, I like it,
Well, I love the
I
idea
don't
of curing the
like
problem.
last minute, but.
Okay, well, it sounds like Bev made a motion, right?
No, not yet.
Just talking then.
Yep, that's right.
Well,
And just again,
okay, well, I will make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-022, the credit card usage policy resolution.
I got a motion from Christie. Do I have a second?
yes,
Is that Beverly?
yes, I'll support.
Resolution, this is a roll call vote. Gary?
As long as this, you said you're open to any
Yes.
other changes or ratifications or, yes.
Gary's a yes. Rhonda's absent. Ken's a yes. Christie's a yes. Yes, right?
Yes.
And Beth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fourth, or this other,
Well,
it's a voucher,
gonna hold us to be
since it says
accountable,
voucher.
that's good.
Similar idea.
Well,
Same
the
idea.
electronic submittal will be helpful.
No, I understand that, but I
It's
mean,
similar, and just so you know, it removes the ability to submit a voucher without a receipt.
Yeah. Well, it's gotta be emailed. Good. Trackability. Okay, we're, what did we just move to?
Now we're on the other credit card.
This is resolution, 2022, resolution for extension of credit of incumbency certification. Well, that's a lot of words.
Yeah, I know, that's from PNC. I want to move forward with obtaining a PNC credit card.
Is that what this is doing?
Yes.
And what do you have to do that?
We have to approve you and I to sign it.
This document we have here, we already signed.
No, we haven't.
Right.
That's just I just inputted our name.
Oh.
You have to actually sign it.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Ken, I've got a
Well, now I
check
need
you
to read
already
it.
signed.
I gotta sign it, I
I
gotta
was
read it.
gonna say, you will want to read it.
I know.
And Christie, I'm just gonna ask the question, with the treasurer being the administrator on PNC, does this make a difference of who's signing?
I don't know the answer to that. And I almost put her on it, and then I was looking at, like, roles and responsibilities, and debt is not a treasury responsibility.
Good.
So, yeah, I'm sure. So I was like, well, I guess I'll leave her off, and then if somebody decides otherwise.
I would not want her ability to have access to information to be limited.
I don't think that this does that at all.
I think this is just authorizing us to get
Yes,
credit
to get
from
the
them.
credit. Yep, to get and manage the credit.
So I know if she was here and somebody said, do you want any responsibility for liability? She'd say no.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as, it's gonna be important for her to be able to make sure things are timely at her end as well.
Well, and hopefully she'll be willing to.
The automated
Yeah.
is what I've been hoping we're going towards.
Okay. Which means she will have to have access, so.
Right.
And hopefully they
Right.
won't mess up as much.
Yes. Hopefully they won't misapply funds.
And I gotta say, they are a good, they're one of the few banks I actually like, because they do a lot of things in the community, and most of it's for, preschool and that kind of stuff.
Yep. Okay, so this is basically that form that Rhonda picked up.
Yes.
And you just
I
put
just.
a cover sheet on it and.
Mhm. Yep. That's exactly what it is.
This makes our bank, PNC.
No, this makes
Credit card.
it allows us to apply for credit with PNC.
Credit card, right.
Credit card. Okay. So I got a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
I've made a motion, I got a second?
I'll second.
Gary made a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, vote. Gary?
Yes.
Rhonda's absent. Ken's yes. Christie?
Yes.
Beverly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we want to wait?
Combined board, commission meeting, training, trustee Sherrer, clerk page to present.
We're gonna move to postpone until the committee of the whole in September. That work?
Yes, that's fine.
It'd be a good subject matter for that. We have to vote on that?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Well, you need a second first.
I got a second, didn't
You
Beth
made the
second?
motion,
I
I
made the
second.
motion.
You made the motion, I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay,
I thought I had it.
okay, you do now.
CB.
CB you got. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Gary?
Yes.
Ayes, carried. Okay, we're back to public comment.
We've had some
You
very
guys happy?
patient people here.
Was it a good meeting? Was it worth, wait?
Bored to death?
You did not break the records I've been to.
I don't break the record?
And for about 4 hours.
Oh. We've done that before, I hope to not do it again.
Were they working on marijuana
No.
or roads?
Not the-
My dog has to cross his legs when I'm at these meetings.
Hey,
Hey, Harry, well, you got any comments?
well, I
as a
was
citizen?
just gonna ask, do I speak at board comment or public comment?
Are you, taking the treasurer's place?
Are you
Yeah.
speaking as a treasurer, or are you speaking as a citizen?
No.
I'm gonna speak as a citizen. May I
You
do
can
that
do it as
now?
a citizen, and then you can
Yeah.
also do it as a treasurer. But you gotta separate the,
Okay, as a citizen, I wanted to,
wait a minute, I'm out of paper.
Make sure you're in the mic, Karen.
I wanted to compliment Matt Nilsson for, he.
Saying all,
No, not just that, but that was impressive too. I sent out a letter to, I want to say, as many as 8 people, with kind of the concern about the 8th Avenue. And of course, Kurt Dora already knew about it, and he was looking at it, but nobody else responded. And Matt, who I've never met before that, he pulls in our driveway, and I'm like, who are you? and he introduces himself as responding to this letter. I mean, it was an insignificant letter in many ways, but I was impressed that not only did he then show up, then he goes down and actually looks at 8th Avenue and the drainage, then he comes back and tells us what he observed, then he comes tonight with a Google Earth drawing with a possible rationale for how this is even happening, and it's like, I'm blown away by...
How did Matt get the letter?
He was one of, it was people running for office.
Oh, you wrote
Or,
the candidates?
I did,
Oh, good.
candidates and people already serving, and I probably have a copy of it here, and you could see who it all went to. But I threw it out there like, oh, I don't know if anybody will pay attention, but I was very impressed. So, and you stayed tonight through the whole meeting.
Glutton for punishment.
I see it's in his nature, 'cause he's.
how's Jerome Miller treat you? How did Jerome Miller treat you?
That's, very interesting, we started off a little bit nervous, but, we were working on this together in a long process.
He didn't hurt you, right?
Oh.
Not saying anything.
I noticed, and it's wise.
Well, we all had conversations with him today.
Yes. Okay,
Okay, that was,
that's it.
that was public comment? That was it, one?
That was it.
No one else?
That was
I got to talk all the way through it.
I want you to know that was the nicest comment she's ever made.
That's not
Okay, I
true.
think, let's see, where's my,
I've made other positive comments, but that was
But
glowing.
she
Gary.
got on track.
you're on, Gary.
My only comment I have is that I have, some things I want to talk to individually with the board members, so I'll be meeting with you one-on-one, for discussions and some concerns and some phone calls I made to other townships, so, other than that, I hope everybody, stays safe and has a good week. And,
Well, you can't leave it like that, Gary.
enjoy the weather.
Also, all done?
Thank you.
Okay. Beverly?
I have no comment tonight.
Cause you used them all up.
Stop it.
I'm just a lady.
Karen, Treasurer Karen, Deputy
Not
Treasurer Karen.
apparently.
Well, I'm trying to anticipate what Rhonda might have said, and I think she would be very glad that we are working on the, charge card stuff. So. That's it.
That's it. Christie?
Vote. That's my comment.
Vote
Yeah.
for Matt Nilsson.
Everyone should vote.
I do vote.
For me, we still need to work very hard to work together well. And, we're a team. When one of us might make a mistake, it really is all of us, because when you say township board, we're the township board. And anything that one of us does is reflective of all. So, be nice to everybody, and, I wanna thank you guys for sticking around tonight, and, Matt, for looking into that. That's well beyond your duty, I think, and it's very impressive that you would take the time to do that. Well, we appreciate it.
And if you get elected, don't forget that.
I'll come back.
Good.
Put some of these on that back table or out in the front when people come here. We can't advertise. We can't advertise.
Not right now, because we're in a certain time period.
Or are you doing absentee ballots here? Yes, you did, you had one into it. You can't put anything here. 100 feet out, you can put some on the roads. Oh, that'd be litter.
Hey, do you have yard signs or anything you want?
I got a good tip for you. Hardings and their bulletin board, people actually do look at those.
Do you have extra ones of these? Hand them to me and I'll distribute.
And around here, people do look at the reminders.
Yeah, I was trying to get in this weekend.
Thank you.
And I called them again and make sure. I sent an email yesterday.
You'll get in then.
Do you have a webpage with
I do.
what you
Yeah, I thought that did that.
stand for, kind of?
Minor stuff, so I needed more.
Just a little something I wanna add to his, integrity. He served our country in special forces.
I read that.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
You saw that.
No, I
So,
read it.
He,
Well, what are you gonna learn with Jerome?
No, his comment was, they're a small unit, and they take care of a problem and get it done, and then they leave. That's why he was doing all this. He gets things done.
Good.
Thank you very much, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
No.
No.
Was there a second? Who seconded?
No, we haven't got a second yet. I'm waiting for no.
Everybody's not racing out the door yet.
Why do we not have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Go.
Beverly.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I don't know about you.